Well, first off, let me just say, obviously being a North Carolina native myself, I have a real soft spot in my heart for the state of North Carolina and, the kids that come out of this state. And to be honest with you, that's probably been the backbone of this program since I've been here at App. We obviously recruit some out of state as well. But, if you look at the bulk of our lineup, each and every year, the majority of those kids are from North Carolina that were wrestling in the state tournament, just the same as these kids will be this weekend. So obviously I really try to identify who I think, could potentially develop and help us at Appalachian State out of the talent in North Carolina. I always try to get the best kids. And, honestly, when I go to that tournament and my assistants, if they're at the tournament, the things that we're looking for are, number one, high character. We're looking for high character kids that we can bring in our program and that are going to add to our team culture, not detract from it. And then second of all, obviously we're looking for guys that have some talent and some skills and some things like that. But, most importantly in our program with our identity, it's really important that they have an extreme work ethic. They've got to love wrestling. They've got to love it. They got to eat, sleep, and breathe it. And, we really pride ourselves on having that blue collar mentality here at Appalachian State. So I'm obviously looking for those guys that, are not afraid to work, and they're year-round wrestlers that are hungry and just have extreme work ethics. Because I think those are the things that I've identified that really tend to point to success in our program. If we recruit those kids that are very hungry and have a great work ethic and are high character kids, they tend to develop at a high level in our program. And so that's the main things that our staff will be looking for in North Carolina this weekend, but also in every other state and every other recruiting event we go to. Those are the things that we identify. And then lastly, I would say, I really look for wrestlers that can wrestle in all three positions. We're a firm believer in being a well-rounded wrestler that you can win matches from each position, from your feet, from top, and from bottom. And I think that's really important in our philosophy and, kind of the identity that we take on here at Appalachian State.
And so, when we go to state tournaments, it's obviously everybody wants that state champ, that couple of time state champ, that couple of time state placer. But for me, the thing that I look for the most is the guys that go out and just fight for every position and fight for everything they get every match. Some of my favorite kit guys to recruit and have on my program are the guys that maybe lose their first or second round match, but come all the way back and take third, or come all the way back and take fourth. The fact that they didn't quit, that they knew hey, there's still the next thing to get. I got to go out and get the next thing. I got to keep fighting for the next thing. Sometimes that's harder than winning a state championship, because sometimes those kids wrestle 6-7 matches in a day. And those are the type of situations you run into in college that can make the difference between you being an average college wrestler and a great college wrestler. Is, you might lose your first round match at the national tournament. That doesn't mean it's over. Go back and get the next best thing, which is third place, because unfortunately that's the next best thing you can get. So go back and get it. And those guys that go out there and want to fight in every position and for 6 minutes in high school, 7 minutes in college, those are the type of guys I'm looking for, that just want to put their head down and go out and fight and give it everything they got for their team, for their coaches, themselves, and whatever other reasons they do it for.
Hi guys, I'm Noah Gonzer from Campbell Wrestling, and here's some things that I look for when I'm recruiting. First of all, I want to find that wrestler that wants to win and is always looking to score the next point. So they're looking to win every little battle, whether it's on their feet or on the mat, top or bottom, and it doesn't matter what the score is. They're always looking to score the next point. So I want to find that relentless wrestler that doesn't stop. Secondly, I'm looking for that wrestler that wins and loses with class. Somebody that's really professional and carries themselves well and cares about their grades. Because those are generally the people that are going to work the hardest and are kind of perfectionists. So they're going to carry themselves and bring everybody else on the team up to that standard. So I'm looking for that guy that lives the right way. And third, I'm looking for a guy that loves wrestling and is coachable. So somebody that is going to take criticism well and possibly learn and adjust from it. So those are the type of things that I'm looking for as a college recruiter and a coach. And I think those are the things that will make a high school wrestler successful in college?
Well, definitely we're looking for people that fit our profile, people that fit where we're putting the product out at. Obviously, we're looking for guys that are comfortable with a rural environment. Obviously, UNCP is in a rural community, so we definitely are looking for guys that understand that. And if it's not something that you're comfortable with, this is not the place for you. We don't want you here, and we're not gonna go out of our way to try to satisfy other things that we know we can't satisfy. So we're looking for guys that are comfortable in a rural community and in a school that they know they can come through and thrive. We're looking for guys that are comfortable with diversity. Obviously, being a Black coach, you have to be comfortable with that, and having a diverse and unique staff. It's something that our recruits have to be also comfortable with, and be able to accept that, knowing that they're going to come here, they're going to get a lot of great opportunities to be around a lot of great people from all walks of life, rich, poor, Black, white, Hispanic, all that. And those are the kids we're looking at, kids that understand that when they leave the college coaching or the college wrestling world, they're going to go into the real world with that kind of experience and that much diversity when they leave college. So those are the kind of athletes and kids that we're looking for, and we're looking for the same thing in their families. So I guess to answer your question, we're looking for guys that are gung ho and excited to embrace what we have at UNCP, not just our campus, but a campus community in a nutshell.
We're different than many colleges because of our academic criteria. So we do a lot of recruiting before we ever get there, so that we have a sense of who we can recruit from an admission standpoint. But once we get our feet on the ground, and we're in the Coliseum and we're watching wrestling, there's a few things that I tend to really pay attention to, aside from just the outcome of the match. One is I really like to see how a kid warms up. That just says a lot to me about potentially his maturity, or how serious he is, or how much he knows how to manage himself. And then I really like to see how a kid behaves at the end of a match. That's really important to me, whether he won or whether he lost. I like to see a kid that's out there having some fun. So I don't mind seeing a kid celebrate a little bit. I think that's a great thing. Again, that means that win meant something to him. And then, you don't want to see a kid that maybe just lost a match, brush it off like it didn't sting him at all. So we pay attention to those things because we think they're important competitive variables that are really, really hard to identify. I'll tell you this, the first thing that what I love is when someone loses first round and then wrestles all the way back for third. There's nothing that makes me want to recruit that person more than what I call being an Iron Man. I just think it says a lot about how tough they are, and their ability to persevere when they didn't reach their goal. So, for those that might lose that first round match, know that you can catch a lot of people's attention by continuing to wrestle hard and showcasing yourself in those wrestle back moments. So those would be some of probably the different things that we're looking at outside of just the overall match. And every coach has the things that they like to see, but we really like to see, what does that competitiveness look like? What does it look like when a kid gets in a dicey or tough situation? How does he respond? Does that bring out the best in his wrestling, or does it make him really, really nervous and kind of shut down?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty kind of wide open. There's not a cookie cutter answer to any sort of recruiting for us. Obviously we want guys that win, guys that having guys who win state titles is nice, but that's not all we look for. I was never a North Carolina state champ myself. So, moved on to had a pretty good college career without ever winning a state title. So, we're looking for how guys carry themselves, how guys compete, if how they manage the moments, the big moments, or even when they're losing, how do they carry themselves? Do they fight back? Do they, do they give up? Do they throw their headgear against the wall while everyone's watching? How are they treating their coaches? Just things like that too, because, we can't just recruit on results only. So, really like to watch guys, how they carry themselves and whether it's a win or a loss, how they where their character is with that the best we can. Seeing those guys that lose early and have to fight back, come back for third place, things like that. That's hard to do, especially as a senior at the state tournament when your goal is to be a state champ. And I say maybe you get upset in the quarters or something, and that next match back is going to be really hard. Hard to stay focused and hard to get excited for when your dreams come crashing down, and just seeing how you deal with that type of adversity is what I would say is interesting to watch, because sometimes our best guys are guys that come in with a chip on their shoulder that never achieved their goal, that still have something to prove. And for high school wrestling, the pinnacle is your state tournament, and if you don't win that state title, you can carry a lot of doubt, but you can also carry a lot of anger, so to speak, or frustration, or, hey, I still have something to prove. I'm going to go and work my way into getting my hand raised a lot at the next level too. So.
Right.
Hey guys, this is Coach Sewell, assistant coach at Mount Olive. What are we going to be looking for at the state tournament? We're going to be looking for guys that are working hard, pushing the pace, not getting tired, getting after it, how you react when you win, how you react when you lose, how your parents are reacting in the stands, things like that. We want good, academic, strong, tough guys coming in to build a program in Pickletown. So good luck to you, and get after it.
Hey, this is Rob Tate, head wrestling coach at Queens University of Charlotte, NCAA Division II institution right now in the South Atlantic Conference. We're looking forward to coming up to North Carolina State Tournament this weekend and looking at the guys that we've recruited already, and maybe getting our look at some more guys, future Royal wrestlers. When we go to the tournament, we're looking to, obviously everybody wants to win, right, and wants to be the state champion, state placer, but there's a lot of different things we look at when we're recruiting a kid or we're evaluating a kid. How well does it seem like that they're drilled in and that they're in tune to listening to their coach? How do you handle losing? How do you handle winning? How do you come back after you've lost? How do you come back from a bad call? What does it look like that your weigh-ins were like for the next day and your weight cutting process and things like that? How do you treat your parents? Even when I see you going up there in the stands and interacting with them, there's a lot of different factors that go into being recruited and recruiting other than just straight results. So you gotta take all that for granted, you gotta take all that for what it's worth, and just go out there and try to perform anyway, because the one thing that's directly out of your control a lot of times is the results. But everything else, like I said, how you act, what you eat, how you carry yourself is all within your control, and it matters.